Welcome, first of all. This is indigomusic.com and Indigo 91.9 FM. Thank you so much for joining me, all three of you.
Thank you for having
Pleasure.
us.
Absolute pleasure.
Let's start with doing a formal introduction. We have India-born Danish conductor Maria Badstu. Welcome. We also have soprano and composer Cheryl Baines. Welcome. And Indian-American tenor Alok Kumar. Welcome, all three of you. This is Xperience Sessions on indigomusic.com. You guys are performing as part of the South Asian Symphony Orchestra. The event is happening at Christ Auditorium this Saturday at 5 p.m. How excited are you?
Super.
Extremely excited.
It's a beautiful program. So
Right. Let me start with Maria, you, if you may. Let's talk about the South Asian Symphony Orchestra. It's usually an orchestra is said to be a reflection of how a society should be, is what your founder says, and I think is what your vision is, where individual roles matter, but it's also important how they all come together seamlessly to complement each other. How is an orchestra a mirror of the society? What is the vision with the South Asian Symphony Orchestra?
Well, I'm a guest conductor and I haven't met the orchestra yet. We see them first time tomorrow, and the singers also. Nirupama Rao has also just recently wrote her reflections on how the orchestra should reflect.
Right.
And I think what people doesn't know when you hear an orchestra is how big a collaboration is going on. Not only from the conductor to the musicians, but especially within the musicians. It's not something we talk about. It's also between me and the singers. There's so much interaction that we don't talk about.
Right.
And this thing about collaborating, give and take, you think the conductor is, of course, it's a leader role, but it's also a very collaborative role, depending how you approach it, of course. We'll do a workshop at the end of the week also, where we'll talk about it, the collaboration between the conductor and the singer, or the conductor and the orchestra.
Right. Let's move on to you, Mr. Alok. Despite having a thriving international career, it's the first time you're performing in India, I'm guessing. How's the feeling to be performing in Bangalore City? And also tell us a bit about what we can expect from the event that's happening this Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, yes, you're correct. It's my first time performing in India, first time in most of my family's from Bangalore. So
Right.
I have quite a few people attending. I think the largest claque I've ever had, specifically coming from me in any performance venue, which is wonderful. So that's really been an added bonus, and just something. It's been a while since I've been here, but to come back under these auspices is really. I think I'd mentioned it. The way I kind of described it was introducing your soon-to-be spouse to your family, essentially. So that's kind of how I feel, because my profession is something that I've developed independent of my extended family, and so this is the first time many of them will hear me sing live, which is incredible. The program itself is what can be expected. Well, I mean, I think it's opera generally. I mean, is something that is viewed as a niche kind of art form. It is certainly the most, I guess, complete art form, and one of the more complete art forms, because it incorporates drama, text, story, libretti, music, orchestration, the voice, whatnot, and kind of it's this amalgam, which makes it incredibly complicated, but at the same time also incredibly accessible. And to do it in a concert setting where you're not actually doing a full opera with costumes and all the accoutrement is, I think, a pretty wonderful way to kind of like almost nakedly show what the art form is. And the only thing that can really be done at this point is have the performers connect with the audience, and it's an opportunity to really make an impact. So I think this particular program has a lot of hit tunes from the operatic canon, some of which people may have heard, many people may not have, but I think it's going to be something that's going to be enjoyable, very upfront in their face. I don't believe it's going to be amplified.
No, a little bit.
A little bit?
Okay.
Maybe just kind of perfumes of amplification, but at the same time,
Fumes of amplification.
yeah. But I think
Sir, a wordsmith.
primarily, but primarily it'll still be kind of this idea of hearing the human voice with orchestration, and to kind of get that impact is going to be, I think it's going to be memorable.
Right. When you're talking about the emotional power of opera, I think that's what even I realized. I feel like you need to be qualified to even like go watch an opera, because you're not exposed to that kind of an art form. That brings me to my question, and this is to you, Cheryl. You're bringing the emotional power of grand opera to life in Bangalore City, and a lot of people might not have the exposure or the kind of experience to view or watch an opera performance. what are some of the timeless masterpieces we can expect at the concert? What are the selling elements, maybe?
What are the okay, you've asked two questions. What are the timeless masterpieces and what are the selling elements? I think
Okay, those are the two different. Okay. Right.
in terms of the masterpieces, of course, we will be performing a repertoire from Carmen. This is one of the most famous and beloved operas in the repertoire. So a lot of very recognizable music there. If you haven't heard it on stage, then you've heard it in film. If you haven't heard it in film, you've heard it in cartoon. There's no way you have not heard some of this music. So we have Carmen, we have wonderful orchestral excerpts, which Maria will regale us with, and we have two arias as well, and a very beautiful and exciting duet.
Yes.
So we have that. We have music from La Traviata. So this is also a very famous opera, and I think also very recognizable. Romeo and Juliet, I will not say is as famous to non-operatic listeners,
Right.
but the music is super exciting. I think it's every time I perform, the particular aria I'm going to sing, it's always something that is full of life. I feel like a little bird, when I sing it, and it's delightful. I think it's delightful. As far as the selling elements, first I want to point out you said something interesting, which is that you feel you need to be qualified to come and watch an opera or to come and see a concert of this.
Yeah,
nature.
and you were shaking your head when I said that.
Right, because we have to be qualified to give you this concert, but you don't have to be qualified to listen. Otherwise, we'd only be performing to an audience of ourselves, I feel. I think it's really wonderful that we're having this program, and it's a wonderful opportunity to remind the audience, come and experience. It's our job to make you find yourself somewhere in the scope of the music and find yourself in the story, and just not know when it happened, when it transformed from you coming to sit down in your seat to you being in a whole different time and whole different space with us. So I think emotional delivery is a selling point. I think that this is going to be a unique experience. I think that's a selling point. And I think beautiful music is always a selling point. We have all of this, and opera is all of this. It's human experience.
Right. This brings me to my last question. Any of you can take this up. What's the event called? When is it happening? And where is it happening? And how can we get the tickets? Could any of you please tell that to the audience, of course?
A Night at the Opera. We have two dates, August 2nd and August 3rd. August 2nd, everybody get your seats. You can reserve on the South Asia Symphony Orchestra website. Be at Christ University in the amazing 1800-seater auditorium. We're very excited to be on stage there, 5 p.m. Get your tickets now.
Right. Miss Cheryl, Miss Maria, and Mr. Alok, thank you so much for joining me and sharing all that information and insights into the world of opera. Thank you for joining me, and all the best for the shows.
Thanks for having
Thank you.
us.
Thank you.